December daily time and we are on day 4 today. So let's see what we have in our paper bag this morning. This is what it looks like. I know you're more interested what's inside the bag. Today we have the turtle. And our snack today is chocolate covered dates from Egypt. So my hubby actually hand imported them from Egypt for me. I have tried these before. They are very yummy. Oh, and actually they're not just dates. My bad, I forgot. They're actually dates in a cookie in chocolate. This one unfortunately has kind of fallen apart, so it doesn't look as good as it should. But I know it tastes really yummy. It's soft, it's chewy. Yes, I'm biased, definitely. My December diet is going down the drain really quickly. And I'm giving this snack 9 out of 10 points. This is definitely one of my most favorite snacks. Let's see if anything this December can top this. Let's go to our craft desks and do something creative. So again, a quick reminder, if you don't have the prompt list yet or the animal freebie, you can find those links below, as well as the whole playlist for this DEPHEMEREMBER series, which is a collaboration with my friend Louise Heinzel. And I always forget to tell you at the end of the video, please watch Louise's video as well, because she has the most amazing ideas always. So today's prompt is recycled art and coin envelope. I think these are my two favorite prompts. I love making coin envelopes and I love recycling my art. I've used recycled art in quite a lot of my planner pages. So I moved apartments a few months ago, and before I moved, I decluttered some of my journals. Yes, I know that sounds horrible, but there were some where I just had a few pages in them and they weren't bringing me joy. So I decided to tear out those pages and use them in more current journals where I actually would appreciate them more. So these are some of the pages I have torn out of other journals. So here, for example, is just a fun background. Can totally use that in a collage or something. This was half of a page of a mixed media page that I made. Lots of texture paste. Same thing with this one. I've already used parts of the other half in my planner. So this is my planner that I used from August to October of this year. And here are examples of using recycled art. This here was a page from an altered book that I tore out, cut it down, put this on top, made a belly band out of it. Sometimes I just tear out the pages as they are, like this one. It's from 2015, and I just stick it into something like a belly band. This background here is a piece of the second half of this spread, and I just stuck the mushrooms on top and added some splatters. I really think it is super fun to repurpose your art, especially if it's in a journal that does not bring you joy. This page here is again from an altered book. This here again is from 2016. It was a black and white portrait and I just colored it. And here is the other part of this here. And that time I just tore it out as it is. I didn't even add anything else. No, not true. I did add a few splatters, but that's it. So go through your old journals, especially the ones that are not finished or where you just have a couple of pages, you know you're never going to work in that journal again. Tear those out, put it in a journal that you love. You will find a new appreciation for the things you created years ago. I'm not going to use any of these today though. I decided to do something else. So I have this notebook which was sponsored by Leuchtturm, and I received this as a participant in the Art Journal Festival here in Vienna in May. And inside I had fun making some like neutral backgrounds with brayers. So you see these here. And I especially love this one, especially because of these splatters. And I decided I want to use this as my base for the coin envelope that we're going to make. But I didn't want to use the original. I want to keep this original, and it's also, it would be doable. The paper is not super thick, but I think it would be better to do it with a copy page. This one is also really nice. So what I decided to do is to scan that. And now I have this, so maybe I'll show you again in comparison. I did change the colors a little bit. I made it a little bit warmer. So this has more like greenish tones in it. And this one, as you can see, is warmer, and I enlarged it a little bit. And I wanted to make this available to you as well as our next freebie. Yay! So you can find this linked below in the description box. And I also wanted to add a goodie for you because I used this background for one of my sets of my digitals, which is the You Belong Among the Wildflowers kit, which I will show you here. So you can get 50% off the backgrounds, the ephemera, and the clip art using the code DEF2022 SPLAT, and you can enter that at the checkout. There's a field for any coupon codes. That will be valid from today until the end of December 2022. So let's go ahead and make a coin envelope. I'm going to start by cutting off the white border. Once I have that, let's fold our coin envelope. It's actually super easy. So I'm going to turn this around. Let's see how wide do we want to make it. I don't need to make it super wide, maybe approximately like this. So I'll fold this. And then I'll fold this one. So make it as wide as you want. And then I see there's a lot of overlap here, so I don't need that much. So I'm going to trim the outer one off approximately here so that they overlap maybe 1/2 inch, and I'll just cut that down. Now we fold it back up. Doesn't really matter which one goes on top, as you like. So this is going to be the bottom of our coin envelope. So I'll just fold a flap up, giving it a good crease, approximately that much. I'm not really going to give you measurements because it doesn't really matter. Then I'm going to unfold this like that. And all we're going to need is this middle flap here. So the rest I can cut away. And I want this flap to have like this trapeze shape. So I'm going to make a cut here and on the other side here where the crease is. Like that. And then I can just cut away here where the crease is and here where the crease is. So now it looks like this. So when we fold these over, this will go on top like that. And for the top, I do the same thing, but I usually like having a bigger flap on the top. So I'll do, what is this, maybe 1 inch. Again, get a good crease. And here we'll do it almost the same. We'll just do something slightly different. So again, I'm going to cut at a slant here on the top. And then instead of cutting along this crease, I'm going to cut a little bit at an angle, because that will just make it easier to get into the coin envelope. So you see I'm cutting here, and I'll cut at an angle so that I meet up here at the end. So like this. And I'm trying to keep them approximately the same on the right and the left. So now when we fold this up, you see this, and this little indent here just makes it easier to pull something out or put something in. Now, if you want, you could round your corners, and to make sure that they are the same when you round them, I would fold it and make sure these line up. And then actually, why don't we just do that? So they are lined up, that's important. And then you just cut around, or you just use your corner rounder. And now we have nice rounded edges. So that's our coin envelope. That's the front. If you want, you can ink up the edges before you glue it down, which is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do this with Vintage Photo. And before I glue it, I also like adding something here to this white part. So I'm going to open that. Take a stencil. This is a beautiful one I bought locally from the chain Action, so I cannot link this for you. I'm going to use my Vintage Photo again, and I'm going to use one of these makeup brushes. You could also glue some pattern paper to that flap. You could just spray it. You could add stamping to it. There's lots of ways you could decorate the flap so it's not so boringly white. So now I can very simply glue it together. So I'll add some glue to this flap, which is going to be on the inside. And then we'll just glue this flap down. Okay, so super simple and cute coin envelope. So then we have our animal freebie, which we can use if we choose to, don't have to. I'm going to take this as inspiration to use a turtle, but I have another turtle that I'm going to use because I feel like coloring today. So here is freebie number 2 for you. We have 4 turtles. 4 different sizes for you to choose from, and I think these are fun because you can color them. I did print this on 200 GSM cardstock. You don't have to do that. And we can of course either put it in the journal upright like this, or we can put it sideways like this. Thing is, I actually want to add something else. I don't want to just add the turtle. If I was just adding the turtle, I could use either this one or this one. But I want to add one of these Tim Holtz sitting dolls, and I think he would go best. She's a little big. I think this one would be really good. This one is too small. This one I think is the perfect size for him. So I'm going to cut her out, her or him, I don't know. And then we'll color it, and then we'll see how to position. I'm just gonna say him. I don't know if it's a him. I don't feel good saying it. I'll say him. There he is, all cut out. So yesterday I made a very colorful journaling card, and today I want to stick to more neutrals. Also because I think that would just work better with this Vintage Photo. And obviously you can use anything to color your, I was gonna say giraffe. Are you a giraffe? Your turtle. And I'm going to use this as my palette. This was from the mochi I ate the other day. Very useful. I'll start with this beige ice ink dye spray. I'll just pour a little bit in here. This is a new experience for me as well. I think DEPHEMEREMBER is great for trying out new things. I'll paint the head in that color. Maybe leave some parts out that I want to color a bit differently, or a lighter shade or something. These are great to color with. It's so wonderfully zen to color something in because you're totally concentrated on this and you can forget everything else. It's awesome. Then I'm going to use some forest moss oxide spray. Next, I'll take some frayed burlap. Let's do some of these rings. Then I want to try this coffee spray from Ice Ink. This one is super dark, so I'm going to add some water to it. Was it this one now? I don't know, I think it was this one. So let's add some of the spots. So good that I have 2 of these because I need more colors. I'm going to use my fossilized amber distress oxide. And lastly, I'm going to use this Ice Ink spray in Gold Mine. Okay, that was not a good idea because you can't really tell the difference between the fossilized amber and the gold mine. So I'll just dab over those. And then let's use the forest moss. Then I want to bring back some of those lines because some of these are hardly visible anymore. So I'm going to do that with a very fine marker. I have a 0.1 black line marker. And we can make him smile a little bit while we're at it, right? I'm still not happy with him. I think what I mostly don't like is these dark parts. So I want to change that. One option would of course be to use embossing powder over it, but I want to experiment and try something different. So I'm going to try my Craft Emotions Metallic Gold Wax Paste instead. I'm going to take a brush. This brand is good because it's soft enough to use a brush with. With some other brands, the wax is so hard that you could not even apply it with a brush. So I'll try to concentrate on the dark areas to lighten those a bit. It's very hard to be precise with a brush like this, but I think a more narrow tip is not going to work. Maybe I just need to paint a bigger area. The embossing would have definitely been more accurate because I have this embossing pen. But hey, we have to try new things, right? And they won't always work. I mean, I do love how it's covering the brown. So that's awesome. So I just need to cover bigger areas, I think, since I cannot really be precise with this. In the end, I'll probably have everything covered with gold. I would not be surprised. Then I also have the same wax paste in metallic turquoise. I am trying a thinner brush now. It's very subtle. I was hoping for a little more bam. So I'm definitely happier with him now. I went over the turquoise spots 3 times, so that helped, and now he's nice and shimmery. So let's see what he would look like. I'm quite happy with this already. But I also want to try maybe adding some wings. I have these from the giraffe freebie from the other day. I will link this again for you below. So I'm going to cut these out and see if maybe we can put those on him. Okay, I've cut them out. Let's try it out. They do look a bit big, don't they? Yeah, I think they are too much. But we could cut them apart and see if either the top or the bottom part might work on its own. Let's try it with these first. That's already much better. Can even make them smaller. Yeah, I think that works better. Or we can also just change the position of the bottom ones to make it look like the wings are smaller. Yeah, that's good. I like it. I do want just a little bit of that orange showing. I think like that it totally works. So I'm going to gently remove him and then add some glue here and here and underneath, and then we can add him again. I can also glue him down onto the turtle. So let's check the page width. Maybe it's actually too wide for a page anyway, this way. No, it would be okay. I would put it in like this, not on this page, but put the flap around to the other page. And then, oh, but that is kind of tight. Let's see if there's a page which is a little bit bigger, which still has room for something like this. It's not so easy. No, it's too tight. What I could obviously do as well is to attach it like this. So I would glue the flap down, or actually I would just glue down over here so that this becomes a tuck spot. And then we could fold it over and then it would stick out a little bit, which is totally fine. Oh, and that that by coincidence now is actually this paper where I used this scanned background, but here you see it's a lot more gray. First of all, because it is a little bit more gray in the digital that I made, but also because I'm sure this is printed on matte photo paper, which makes all the digitals look a lot more bluish gray than if you print them on regular copy paper. So this is too much the same for me. I would not like that. This would work if I do it like this. I would not glue it all the way into the middle, I think. Well, actually I could. Or do we just put it like this on a page and then have it flip up? Oh, actually the colors go really well together. We have the turquoise here. I think it looks better when they're not like this because they're both kind of in the middle of the page. I think it looks more pleasing if he's down here, maybe even more to the right. And that way we have this dynamic. Yes, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll glue this in as a tuck spot and we can decorate that another time. But no, I have another thought now because I'm sure this journal is going to get bulky. So it's going to be really difficult to put anything in here when it's in the spine like this. So we need to turn it around, but that means that we don't have enough space unless we cut this down, which I don't want to. Okay, what's another option? Oh, okay. We can add it like this so that the flap is here and that we open it to the bottom. And that means we could put the turtle here on the bottom. And again, we have this dynamic. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, we have a solution. We're doing this upside down. Always good to check your journal before you make these decisions on where to glue something. Can we add any of Louise's beautiful scraps? There's also some here in the front. Louise added with a bulb pin. Thank you so much, Louise, for giving me more scraps. So these are all fabric scraps. Oh, I love them. So these are obviously all scraps that she had left over from making this journal. Ah, so beautiful. And of course, my colors. Okay, so this was our page. Let's keep that in mind because I want something for the turtle to stand on. It looks weird when it's just floating like this. So we need to give it some sort of a ground. There's this beautiful turquoise. Let's try a piece of that. There's this beautiful yellow scrap with some stamping on it. Oh, and it's coming apart. That's great. So we have more of it. I think those two are enough, but I'm realizing that I want a little more contrast on the wings. I want them to stand out a little bit more, and I am going to use my embossing powder. But I'm not going to use gold. I'm going to use my black sparkle embossing powder from Hero Arts, and I'm going to put it on the veins. So I want it subtle, but yet I do want it to stand out a little bit. The same thing on the other wing, obviously. I forgot this line here. That definitely makes the wings stand out more. So I'll just glue this base down. I'm too lazy to use my matte medium. Then let's glue on our turtle. Then I want to add some black splattering, yes. So once those are dry, this is what it looks like. And so now I'm going to just glue down the flap just on 2 sides so that we can, no, actually on 3 sides, so that we can use it as a pocket as well. So we can now flip this open. Obviously we can stick something in our pocket, but we can also stick something in here. Recycled art and coin envelope, check. Don't forget to watch Louise's video if you haven't already. And I've seen some of you have already started posting your creations on social media, which is awesome. So if you want to do that, just use the hashtag DEPHEMEREMBER so we can all see your beautiful creations. See you tomorrow. Love you guys. Mwah, mwah.